Hi, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. This is called Automating Your Firm's Day-to-Day Operations, and we're sure you'll enjoy it. We're only going to take 30 minutes of your time, so we're going to move through this session pretty quickly. It's all about increasing your firm's productivity and efficiency. And one thing that makes this webinar a little bit different than the ones we've done before, and I hope this is among many that you've participated on with us, we're going to talk not about specific areas of law, but no matter where you are in the firm, it really doesn't matter what you practice or what you do at the firm. You really will benefit from software automation. As you probably know, this webinar is presented by Perfect Practice. We've been in the business of software for the legal industry and others for well over 30 years. We're delighted you're with us today. Your hosts for this webinar are Christy O'Berry, who will take the mic in a few moments, and me. My name is Ken Countess. You can reach us at 888-843-8992. We'll give you that contact information later in the webinar as well. You can also reach out to us at marketing@perfectpractice.com, and I invite you to visit our website, www.perfectpractice.com. So let's go ahead and get into today's event. You know, we are all so busy, aren't we? I mean, we've got things going on all around us. We're distracted by not only things at work, our computer desktop is cluttered, everything around us is distracting us, the phone is ringing, there is stuff coming in from everywhere. How do you manage all that stuff? Do you sometimes feel like this? There are just too many apps on your computer. It's very hard to manage everything. You've got to learn all kinds of different software in order to do your job effectively. Applications aren't syncing back and forth. It can really be a struggle. Maybe this is your situation. You're handling your accounting in one application. Maybe you do have a CRM system, customer relationship management, and you've got that going in another system. And maybe payroll in a third, and scheduling in a fourth, and case management in another. How do you manage it all? And then it gets even more complicated when you've got files on everybody's desks. They're very disorganized. Wouldn't it be great if you could organize everything so you can find it in one place, that you can find it anywhere you are on your electronic device of choice? What we're going to show you are the benefits of having an all-in-one software solution so that there's no need for lots of programs cluttering your desktop. Files are linked to one another, making it very easy to access everything you need, and there's obviously then a reduced chance for errors. The other benefits of an all-in-one software solution are clearly that you'll save time and money and increase the productivity and efficiency of your firm. And obviously that means that it leads to more profits. We're going to show you how you can enter data once to manage your firm's activities. And with that brief introduction, let's get into a demo on how Perfect Practice works. And for that, I'm going to introduce you to my colleague, Christy O'Berry. Christy?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to show up today and take a look at Perfect Practice and some of the different things that you can do in our system. Now, in general speaking, this presentation is more than just to talk about Perfect Practice. It's to talk about the chaos that you have in your office on a daily basis. As Ken stated earlier, you've got CRM systems, accounting systems, case management systems, payroll, and the list goes on and on and on. Some of these law firms today have multiple departments in them, and let's talk about case management specifically for a moment. In the case management world, in a multi-department law firm, you know, we've got one department using a specific software, another department yet using another software, and potentially even a third department using a third software. This disjoints everything. And if someone wants to change departments, for example, they get promoted to another department, or they've got to fill in for someone. Now that particular employee is at a disadvantage because the program that they're using for their day-to-day job is now different than the program that the second department is using, so there's a learning curve. With an all-in-one solution, that particular employee would already know how to use the particular system. They would just simply have to know the processes for the other department. Makes the learning curve a lot less. Keeps productivity up as well because it's an easier and smoother transition for the employee and the staff. Being able to enter data one time into a database is also significant. When you have a disjointed system and you've got a case, meaning you have a case management system along with an accounting system, and they're in two separate databases, natively they will not speak to each other. There would have to be an export or an import or some sort of a synchronization taking place. That slows the process down. It's not instantaneous. With Perfect Practice's solution, when I enter data in, such as a time cost entry, that time cost entry is automatically available in the billing department, which sits in our accounting system, because it's simply one database. Take mobility for another example. If I'm on the road and I'm using my mobile device, such as my cell phone, or I'm on a laptop and I need to input data, I want that data to be seen immediately by the staff members that are still in the office. With a lot of the systems that we have out there today, I can't do that. I would either have to bring my my phone or my iPad or my laptop in and dock it and then sync it up to my database. With the appropriate all-in-one solution, that should be happening in real time. Perfect Practice does do that. From our mobile devices to our web interface to the people working in the office, it's all one database. It's all real-time production. The other part is workflow, building in your workflow, trying to automate some of these things. I did a presentation with a prospective client not too long ago, and they have been doing everything manually. All of their ticklers are put in manual. Notes are put into spreadsheets. Time is written down on a piece of paper and handed to someone to go into the accounting package and key that time in. You're losing productivity there bad, and that's something that we want to cure. So with Perfect Practice, for example, I'm going to open up a foreclosure file just because it's in here. And what I want you to see is the ease of use of putting a time entry in. If I wanted to add a time entry, I would simply go to Activities, Time, and I would tell it that I would like to add a new time entry. I would key in my time entry. I could even use preset codes if I chose. Put in the dollar amount or let it calculate it, whichever way I choose to set my system up. And the instant I save and I close that particular time entry, that time entry is now available to my billing staff. They can go in and create my bill. Okay? That saves me time right there. Now I can move on to my next task. So these are some things that we know we need to think about when we are trying to tame that chaos, if you will, and try to get everything under control. Now, switching back over to the multi-department facet of a case management system, when I look at a case list in Perfect Practice, you're going to notice that I have a lot of different case types in my database, ranging from foreclosure to workman's comp to real estate to family law, litigation, everything. This is a one-stop shop. It's everything in one. All of my screens look different. What does that mean? What that means is if I go in and I look at a personal injury case, my screens are set up to mimic what I need for a personal injury file. My fields at the top are what I'm going to be searching by for a personal injury case, and the intake questionnaires that I have at the bottom are pertinent to the personal injury case, and this particular incident is an actual auto accident case. If I go and I open up a foreclosure file as another example, you'll notice that the labels are different. Now I have firm file number, borrower debtor name, and my questionnaires look different. This particular case management system gives you the flexibility that you need to manage multiple areas of practice, multiple departments, whichever way you choose to call it, all in one. You can set up your users' logins to control what they see when they log in. So if you've got Department 1, we'll say that's our personal injury department, and Christy works for that particular department, and Department 2 is my real estate department, and Ken works for that department. When Christy logs in, she's only going to see Department 1's cases, and when Ken logs in, he's only going to see Department 2's cases. That's important to a lot of different law firms because they don't want different case types to commingle and to have employees able to access those. With Perfect Practice, with a simple login rule, has nothing to do with security, it's simply a login rule, we can control what you see and what you don't as far as your different case types. Maybe you have a paralegal who floats the office and she works for multiple attorneys. I can set that particular paralegal's user login up to where when she logs in, she only sees those cases that belong to that specific attorney. Like I said, it's a simple login rule where if I've got any IT folks on the phone, you guys are used to login roles if you use Active Directory with Windows and those types of things. So it just kind of, pushes out the information. Perfect Practice works very similar to that with the actual login roles. Now, another thing that is important when you talk about automating your case management systems is document assembly and building workflow in with your document assembly. If anyone attended my webinar that we did just a few weeks back, you will know that Perfect Practice can handle that for you as well. When we're merging documents, I can go in and have that automatically kick off workflow for me as well. So we'll go back over to my personal injury case here. I'll go to my DocuTrack tab, and I want to create a package document. This means I'm going to create 4 individual documents. 3 of those documents do require me to follow up with them to make sure that I've received what I've requested. In this particular scenario, I've told it to merge my document. It's completed the merge. We'll bring Word over so you can see it here, and then I'm going to go ahead and merge that document. What you're not going to see the system do is create some notes and some to-dos, better known as ticklers, out there in the industry. Behind this particular window are my documents, and when we go back over to our case and we go look at our activities, you'll notice that the system has put a note in for me. We'll get the date sorted here so you can see it. Here are the notes for each one of the documents that I merged. That just saved an end user from having to go and put a manual note in 4 different times for the 4 different documents. The system also automatically triggered my reminders for me, letting me know that these particular items require follow-ups. Again, another step has been saved, probably 5, maybe 10 minutes worth of work. It's been taken care of for me because it's been automated. That's the key to a successful law firm is automation. The more that you can automate, the higher the productivity is going to be, and that basically equates to higher revenue for the firm. I would like to spend more time with you guys talking about all the different things that Perfect Practice can offer you, but unfortunately we don't have that kind of time today. But if you're interested in learning more, please let us know. I'll be more than happy to spend as much time with you as possible. I thank you very much for coming to today's webinar, and to turn this back over to Ken. I think he's got some questions for you. And have a good day. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Christy. Another great job. Every time I sit in on one of these webinars and co-host it with you, I always learn something new. I've got a couple of questions for all of you who are attending today, and the first one is a poll. What we'd like to know is what kind of practice you're in. What is, are you a solo practitioner, 2 to 5 people, 6 to 10, 11 to 30, or 30 or more people? And this will give us a good feel for the breakdown of the audience because we have a few things that we'll be able to address when we do get to the live Q&A session. We'll take another moment or two and give all of you a chance to respond. We've got quite a great turnout here, and I know a few of you haven't yet shared the size of your firm. Go ahead and do that, and I see there are some people that have multiple logins from the same place. That's okay too. You can go ahead and cast your vote as well. We'll give you another few seconds. And here's what you said. So we have a good blend of practices of all sizes with us, and we appreciate that you've shared that information with us. One other question, are you currently using practice management software? Yes or no, and it's certainly possible that you're not entirely sure whether you're using it today. Go ahead and let us know that too. Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that with us. And as you can see, many of the people that are attending today are using some kind of practice management software. You know, what is it really that makes Perfect Practice the right solution for your firm? Well, as Christy had so eloquently said, this is really one solution that can do just about everything you need to automate your practice. It truly is your all-in-one software solution. Tell me, what kind of areas of law do you practice at your firm? Personal injury? Is it bankruptcy or foreclosure, debtor-creditor, or some other law practice? What area do you most specialize in? And I see we do have a question that's come in from Robin. We'll get to your question here in just a moment or two. I'll give you another few moments here to before we close out this poll. And so once again, it looks like we have a great blend, lots of different types of firms. And the great thing about Perfect Practice is that it doesn't matter what kind of law your firm practices. This software works for any type of practice at all. So what it does enable you to do, and then by the way, as you know, we are live, so please go ahead and submit your questions. What this software package enables you to do is truly work far more efficiently. We, in fact, got a testimonial from a client just the other day who said, this software has saved me 10 years of work. We were able to get everything done in 3 hours' time. So can you imagine 10 hours of work completed in just 3 hours? It truly enables you to unlock your firm's full potential and to accelerate your workflow, increase your productivity. And you can use Perfect Practice on any device, whether you're on your desktop, a tablet, a smartphone, a laptop. It's all available for you. I'd like to now take a few moments and go ahead and have Christy answer some of the questions that come in. And while she's doing that, if you'd like to have a personalized demonstration scheduled just for you and your team, you can go to bit.ly/pp-free-demo or shoot an email to us at marketing@perfectpractice.com. We've just entered that a hot link in the chat box for you. So Christy, let's go ahead and answer some of the questions that the folks here have posed. And if you have other questions while you're listening to these answers, go ahead and enter them in. We'd like to answer every question you've got.
Thanks, Ken.
Mm-hmm.
The first question we've got is, we are an all-Mac office. Does Perfect Practice accommodate Mac users? And the answer to that is yes, ma'am, we do. Perfect Practice would run via a web browser for the case management portion of your system. So you would actually just be able to open up Safari and go to your private URL for Perfect Practice and operate your case management system. For the accounting system, you would need to either be running a Windows Parallel on your local Macs, or you could use a hosted solution where you would actually log into like a terminal server or via a VPN based upon the solution there to access the financials program. Now, you could also, if you have a Windows server installed in your office, you could also just use built-in remote desktop connections to access the financials portion of the system. The second question I've got is, what is the typical size of the firms that you support? Do you have any do any Law 100 firms use this software? Yes, typical size, there really isn't one, to be honest. We've got sole practitioners up to, sites that have 3 to 400 users. It's really not a matter of what the software can handle. It's more of what your server and your infrastructure can handle. If you are a large law firm already and you've got 150 plus employees, you've probably got a pretty good infrastructure and a nice backbone built into your network. So Perfect Practice would have absolutely no problem operating and handling in that type of an environment. Is there demos available for texting your software? I don't quite understand that question, Maria. If you could clarify that for me, I'd be more than happy to answer it. Just not sure what you mean by texting. Oh, testing is testing. Yes, we do have trial versions. If you're wanting to, log in and play around, we would set you up with a trial version with our demo data, which is what I use, when I do my presentations individually. And we can even give you access to our e-learning center so that you could go in and kind of watch some videos and learn how to do some things in Perfect Practice. Does the system work with Aderant and or iManage? The system does work with iManage. We do have an interface with iManage. Aderant, on the other hand, Aderant is one of our competitors. They kind of do the same thing that we do, so they don't really like to talk to us too terribly much. They don't want to let out trade secrets. I do have clients, however, who use our case management system and then use Aderant for billing and those types of things. And that goes back to having that disjointed system in place. However, some people, they've got so much time and money invested into some of these other accounting systems that they just can't get rid of them. So what we do for those clients is we create that export-import that I mentioned earlier. Got several of them doing it that way, works perfectly fine. So if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know. What office software, word processing, etc., is it compatible with? Ronald, we work with Word, WordPerfect, as well as fillable PDFs. Now, the fillable PDFs you need to be careful with and make sure that they're actual fillable PDFs, not just a document that was created online for me to go in and fill out. And we can definitely assist you with that. Can Perfect Practice time entries be exported into PC Law? Yes, sir, they can. We just do an export for you, and you have the PC Law folks do your import, and the time would just go on in there. Now, you can also set that import-export process up on a scheduled task so that it runs in the evenings or first thing in the morning, so that a user does not have to be involved in that. Do you have automation with client website, LoanSphere, and VendorScape, or third-party vendors? Service of processor, military search requests, bankruptcy pacer search requests? Yes, we do. We have, for LoanSphere and VendorScape, we have what we call New Invoice and iClear. Those are our automated billing interfaces, if you will, for those two particular parties. And for third-party vendors, yes, we use NetDirector as kind of our medium, if you will. So Perfect Practice sends information requests out for military search requests, pacer searches through NetDirector. NetDirector gets those up to your clients, and then we pass information back and forth, including documents to back everything up. When you talk about service processors, we have several different external interfaces for different service processors as well. We would just need to know, which one you've got. Can Perfect Practice calendar events be exported and imported into an Outlook calendar? Absolutely. That's with Perfect Practice's PP AutoSync program, and that can be done on an individual basis, or it can be done firm-wide. What I mean by firm-wide is some law firms have a firm calendar. They don't have individual user calendars. So in that particular scenario, when it's a firm calendar, one person in the office would be responsible for synchronizing the calendar from Outlook to Perfect Practice and vice versa. And it happens automatically. It's just running on that particular user's computer. If everyone has their own calendars, they have their own task list, then each individual user would be syncing to their own individual Outlook. Does your software interface with QuickBooks for billing? No, ma'am, it does not. Again, QuickBooks is a separate accounting package. They've got their own private, proprietary database, and they don't like to play nicely with some other competitors. There are some competitors of ours that do interface with QuickBooks, but because Perfect Practice has its own accounting package that is the equivalent, if not better, in terms of law firm accounting than QuickBooks, we do not integrate with that. Let's see, what's the next question? Our firm may have 1,500 or more active files. How long would it take to add all of those matters to Perfect Practice? Well, if you did it manually, it would take quite some time, I would assume. However, Perfect Practice does do data conversions. If you can get the data out of your current database into a standard ASCII file format, we can definitely import that information for you, and that may take a matter of a few weeks or a month or so. Just really depends on the amount of data and the speed in which everything kind of happens and comes together. The second part of that question is, do you support sandbox, test, and production environments with the ability to promote changes and test directly to production environments? We do support sandbox, test, and production environments. I'm not probably not the best person to answer whether or not we can promote changes and test directly to production environments. I would probably have to ask one of our programmers for that to get you an absolute positive answer. And Brian, I'll be more than happy to do that and get in touch with you via email to let you know the answer to that. The last question I've got here so far is, does Perfect Practice have an integrated DMS system? Perfect Practice does have a built-in document management system. It is not as robust as iManage or NetDocs or WorldDocs. And what I mean by it's not as robust as those other softwares is that it does not do the checking in and the checking out of your documents. So if that's something that's important to you, I would not look at Perfect Practice's DMS for that. However, it does have a built-in document management system that allows your users to scan incoming documents to a central repository, and then with a program called Directory Monitor that is exclusive to Perfect Practice, we would be able to actually physically pick up the documents from that central repository and move them into the appropriate case directory, giving you instant access from the case level to those particular documents. It also will log those documents. What that means is at the case level, you would actually have a document log, and I will pop the program back up again here for you, and I will go to the document log here on this case, and you'll actually see these are all of the documents and the date that they were associated, if you will, to this particular file. And you can also have it set up to where when a new document is input into the system, you can have it tell the system, hey, I need to know this, so create a reminding to-do for me, letting me know that there is a new document that needs to be reviewed, and then it gives you the name of that document. I can even control who gets that reminder, whether it be the assigned attorney or the assigned paralegal as well. And I've got time for one more question here, and the last question is, what would the price be for a sole practitioner? Depending upon which purchase method you took, if you were going to go monthly, it would be $85 a month. If you wanted to purchase the license for a year, it would be $1,000, and then you would have a 10% license renewal each year after that on the amount of licenses that you have. And I think I am about out of time here, but if you have any more questions, please give us a call at 888-843-8992 or email us at marketing@perfectpractice.com, and I'll be happy to answer any more questions that you have.
Thank you so much, Christy. That comes to the close of today's webinar. We wanted to start and end right on time out of respect for your scheduling. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. You've got our contact information. You also have the ability to get a free demo. For those of you who on our survey responded yes, please contact us for a demo. We'll go ahead and get to that right away. Thanks once again for joining us, and we look forward to having you attend our very next webinar. Have a wonderful day.